I'd like to welcome you all back. Let's get to it. Let's talk about 4A, 5A basketball. 2024 has been, it's been drama this year, 2024. I'm sure it has for a lot of you people, and it definitely has not been fun for me. I've spent some time in the hospital. I'm getting better. I ended up with mild pericarditis. There's a myocarditis and a pericarditis, and I ended up with the best of both worlds. So it definitely was not something I wanted to do. It was definitely not something I wanted to go through. To get an idea of what that is, it basically is inflammation around the heart and the myocardium and all that. And so basically what it does is it just squeezes your heart, lowers your pumping function of your heart, cuts off your oxygen, makes everything a lot more difficult. I even had to learn how to walk again because all I could do was waddle because there was so much pain. And pericarditis, mild pericarditis, I should say, is like it's like heartburn times 40. It is just very, very painful. It just takes you out. And I was out for 4 months. And so I ended up missing all of the summer. I missed all the AAU tournaments. I missed a lot of team camps, showcases, the whole 9 yards. I missed it all pretty much, except for Fall League here in the metro city, in the metro here in Albuquerque. Now that really is a big difference there, because that's how you figure out who's going to be good and who's not going to be good, honestly. That's how you figure out if somebody's going to really shine this year, or if somebody needs to work on things. And that's what you get to see in the summer. And so I didn't really get to see that, but you got a lot of returning players coming back. And I think we've got a nice season about to happen. I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be harder to document this season because, well, we can't get media passes or anything like that because the NMAA doesn't want us to present it to you, because I guess they want to monopolize. But that's why I do the videos I did on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to see those, just go over there and take a look, and you'll see what I'm saying. You'll see that basically we, according to them, do not matter. Okay? It doesn't matter what we do, whether we go spend $1,000 for a website or this or that. They're just not going to give it to us. They just don't want us to be there, honestly. And I would be okay with it if they followed their own rules. But they don't follow their own rules. They are the biggest hypocrites I have seen. You know, we've had to endure all this for the last 2 years. We've had to listen to Sally Marquez, talk to everybody like children. And frankly, I'm not going to miss her. Bye-bye, Sally. Bye-bye. I am not going to miss Sally at all, okay? But now, Dusty Young is in there, and maybe he'll change things. I'm skeptical. I think it's going to be the same thing. I think they needed blood from outside to come in there and basically overhaul that place, because I don't really think the NMAA is really doing their job and properly representing high school athletics activities. I don't really think they're doing that at all. I don't see them really improving at all. Okay? And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, to all of you that are watching, they really don't respect you, dear parent, dear citizen of the state of New Mexico. They do not respect you, okay? They think they're better than you. They think they know more. And they're just happy with their cushy jobs as an educational nonprofit collecting state benefits, and they love all the power. And I think you all agree with that. You look at their appeal fees. They're charging appeal fees. They charge you to listen to them, They charge you. If you as a student athlete want to appeal a decision by the NMAA, you're going to have to pay $250. Okay? You're going to have to pay that to them. You're going to have to pay that, and then if they agree with you and they overturn their decision, they'll give you your money back. How nice of them. It means they didn't need your money in the first place. That's what it means. It means it's just a way to deter you from appealing their decisions. It's a way for them to collect some money. And if you really want to go further, well, then I guess you can go to the next committee and pay $500. So if you really, really want to fight them, yeah, you'll end up paying about $750, and maybe you'll get your money back. It's a cool $750 in their pocket. So yeah, if Dusty, if you're watching, I challenge you to get rid of that fee. I challenge you to get rid of that fee, and I challenge you to look at this system, look at it critically, and come up with a solution that works for everybody without trying to get in everybody's pocket. Because, in my opinion, you guys at the NMAA do not care about anybody but yourselves. That's just my opinion. I have to ask, it came out, I think it was a Santa Fe, New Mexican who reported that the University of New Mexico charges $45,000 a day for the pit, for the state tournament. $45,000 a day for the pit. It used to be $25,000, and that's kind of understandable given that size of a venue. But $45,000, they literally almost doubled the price of rental on that thing. But I have a question though. You have ABC Prep over here who does just a basic tournament, nothing special, basic summer tournament, and they're able to guarantee a day at the pit. So I'm pretty sure they're not paying $45,000 for that, because they would probably have to charge every team $1,000+ just to recoup their money. Because I'm sure they wouldn't do it to lose money. Of course, it doesn't make sense to do that, and there's not really that much of a benefit of using the pit for a tournament or anything like that without losing money. You got to make some money. You got to at least recoup that money. So I don't think they're getting charged $45,000 a day. But here the NMAA is getting charged $45,000 a day, and I have to ask, why didn't you just go down to Las Cruces and talk to New Mexico State and get Pan American Center for cheaper, for better? I mean, it's still a college facility, a 13,000 seat arena, nice place, great scoreboard. Why didn't you do that? In fact, why is the state tournament at the pit every year since I graduated high school, 1996? That was the last year they had a state tournament game at the Pan American Center. Last year. That was the last year. 28 years it's been. Why can't we do it? Pit, 4 years or 2 years. Pan American Center, 2 years. Why can't we switch it up? Every 2 years, 4 years, whatever. Why can't we do that? Because why does the Las Cruces schools, Hobbs, Alamogordo, Carlsbad, why do they all have to travel up to the pit in Albuquerque every year, stay in a Holiday Inn, while teams in Albuquerque get to sleep in their beds? Is it fair? I'm just asking a question. Is it fair? I mean, you all decide. Is it fair? Why can't we include the whole state in this? Because the NMAA, last time I checked, represents the whole state, correct? Right? Last time I checked. Why can't we do that with football too? Why can't we get 6A, 5A, 4A football championships at University Stadium and Aggie Memorial Stadium? They're both about the same. Why not? It'll definitely help college recruiting. It's much easier for a college recruiter to fly into Albuquerque, go watch a game, 3 games, and then fly right back out. It's much easier to do that than to go rent a car, drive 4 hours to Artesia. No offense, Artesia, but it's much easier for them to do that, be able to see all these kids, see about 100+ football players, and see if there's somebody they might want to offer a scholarship to. Just saying. It helps recruiting. It helps create an event there. It makes it a big deal, and it's definitely different than playing in your home field. Playing a 30, 40,000 seat stadium compared to your home field, yeah, I would probably want to finish my last game, state championship game, in a college football stadium. To me, that would be an incredible experience, and I think the kids in New Mexico deserve that, especially in football, because the kids in basketball get that experience playing in the pit, because that's the pitching point, the selling point that they use is the pit. Pan Am Center, why not? Why not? And that's where it just grinds my gears, okay? So, frankly, as far as media passes, they're not really fair. They're all beneficial to the NMAA. You have to give them your content, and if lawyers approve these things, my gosh, what a bunch of shysters. I mean, what a bunch of shysters. And I don't say that in a derogatory term. All that means is that they're unethical liars, basically. And it appears to be so, because I see people going into places that require a media pass and don't have one. So, yeah, let's stop being hypocritical. I see things like you got to be broad-based, but I see Hoops magazines being able to get media passes, and they only cover basketball. They don't cover anything else but hoops. But in their media policy, it says broad-based. So, yeah, they don't follow these rules that they set up and that they put their name to. That's all I'm getting at, okay? And I challenge you to question everything. I challenge you to really ask questions and to really get involved because it's your kids, it's your school. You paid for these schools. I don't care if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you worked a summer job and you had taxes taken out. Well, guess what? These schools are your schools. These baselines that require a media pass, well, that's public space. That's your public space, okay? And I think every photographer should be allowed on that baseline, with or without a pass, because that's a public space. Private schools, yeah, it's a different thing. It's their right, and I respect that right, and I uphold that right. But these are public spaces. When it comes to all these public school districts, these are public spaces, okay? You paid for them. Everybody did. I did. We all paid for them. So there's that. Now, I want to address something else. I get people that somehow think that I guess I'm supposed to encourage New Mexico kids to go to UNM in New Mexico State. Well, I want to say this. I encourage New Mexico kids to go wherever they can get the best opportunity that can drastically improve their lives. So, if UNM and Kentucky are recruiting the same kid, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say go to Kentucky. I'm going to say go to Kentucky. Hell yeah, I'm going to say go to Kentucky. Because that's an opportunity that if you can do well at Kentucky, you can go places you could never imagine. UNM, yeah, not so much. Okay, not so much. That's what I'm saying, okay? That's where I stand. I represent the New Mexico kids, the kids here in the state, because it's my state, it's where I was born, that sort of thing. And I'm going to encourage them to go get the best opportunities possible. That's where I stand. And frankly, I don't really think that New Mexico State and New Mexico, UNM, really appeal to any of these kids. You look at UNM, they've lost a lot of kids to Power 4 schools. Daniel Jacobson, 7'3", went to Purdue. Nigel Walls, who has New Mexico connections, possibly would have played for Cleveland, but he moved to Houston. Guess what? He went to SMU. He's 6'9", kids. He's 6'9". 6'9". Okay? You have Jalen Holland, who had an opportunity to go to UNM, but he also had an opportunity to go to Oklahoma and Colorado. He chose Colorado. Good for him. Okay? That's another one they lost. Right there. Those are numbers are adding up. Kenyon Agueno goes to Montana, another D1 school. Okay? They're just leaving right and left. They're not coming here to these schools. And if you want to get even further, let's go El Paso. Hey, it's only 4 hours away from UNM. It's only in 45 minutes away from New Mexico State. Okay, it's still the same region. I consider El Paso to be pretty much the same region. Look, they had KJ Lewis. He went to Arizona, 6'4", went to Arizona. Jared Laverett, I believe I'm saying his name right. Okay, El Paso, 6'11", went to Vanderbilt. SEC school, Big 12 schools. You have Isaiah Carr. Okay, they were recruiting Isaiah Carr. UNM was. I don't know about New Mexico State. Well, he chose GCU and now he's at Denver. 6'11". Deuce Benjamin, 6'2", went to New Mexico State. He was the only one that I guess the state schools, D1 schools, could land. And then we all pretty much know what happened there. And now he's at New Mexico Junior College, playing for a nationally ranked junior college team. Okay? So basically, you only have like 3 walk-ons at UNM. All right? But that's not really a scholarship offer. Okay? Those kids could go to other places and really shine, in my opinion. But they choose to go to UNM, and that's okay. The point I'm making is that they're not getting these kids. Okay? And there is talent here in this state, and I just named it off to you. Okay? You've got kids who went to big-time basketball programs that have gone a lot further than what UNM or New Mexico State will ever hope to be in my lifetime from what it looks like. The way things are going, from what it looks like, yeah, those schools are much bigger than UNM and New Mexico State. All right? Those are just facts. It's not hating. It's just facts. And frankly, folks, the Pit's just not going to sell it. Okay? The Pit's just not going to really do it. The Pit is already outdated. In 5 to 10 years, they're going to have to start talking about doing something with it. It's already been about 10, 15 years since the last renovation. And the way arena construction, college athletics, with all the money thrown around and everything else, the amenities and the different configurations of arenas now with club seating, clubs, nightclubs, suites, everything that generates revenue, the Pit's just not going to be there. It's just not going to hold up. It's just not that way. It's already, oh my gosh, it's probably 40, 60 years old. It's the same thing with football. You know, they wait to pay these guys, these football coaches, after they win, but they don't give them the resources. So, you know, hats off to Bronco Mendenhall at UNM for putting up a pretty decent record. You know, 500's a winning record at UNM, and he did it his first year. But is he going to be able to sustain it? I doubt it. I doubt it because University Stadium is a dump. It's truly a dump. Aggie Memorial is a dump too, but it's not as much of a dump as University Stadium. Am I being critical? Yes, because I'm using right brain activity. I'm telling you that these places need to be renovated. They need to be drastically renovated. These places, if you want to compete, you're going to have to invest in these things. But you know what? They want to give $20 million to some small soccer stadium that nobody's ever going to be able to play on except for New Mexico United. State legislature wants to do that. They want to give them $20 million and this and that in the first one. So that tells you where their priorities are. It's with their friends. It's just like the NMAA. They only care about themselves and not you or me or anybody else or what we have to do and what we pay. That's the bottom line. You know? That's where it comes from. You gotta love it when backlights go out. Money well spent for sure. That for sure. I mean, I've got so much camera gear that I pretty much am going to have to start selling off. I think I'm going to open up an eBay account and start selling that stuff off. So be on the lookout for that for sure. I've got so many USB cords and things like that. I could start a store by this time now after about 6 years of doing this. So I'm going to get into it with 4A, high school boys basketball. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of surprised at the lack of recognition for Valley, honestly. This is a really, really solid program. After the last 5 years, they've been in the championship game several times. They even have a championship or two. I think they went back-to-back about 3-4 years ago. But they've been doing really, really well. And I'm surprised that they're not getting more recognition this year or attention this year because they still look very good. They still look very solid. I think they're going to win a lot of games this year. In fact, I think there's 3 teams that are in 4A that you could basically flip a coin and say either one of these teams could win the state championship. I say that, honestly. I think there's 3 teams here that could win a state championship. Okay, and Valley, when you look at them, they've got Carter Monroe, who looks like the go-to guy for them, and he's solid from outside, inside. He's the go-to guy. He's going to be the guy that's going to take the last shot for the Vikings this year, from what I can tell. They have Angelito Belilla. I hope I'm saying your name right. Just let me know in the comment section. But he's been doing pretty good. I've seen him do some nice runs during the fall league, and he's looked pretty good. And I've been kind of surprised a little bit. But I see them doing well, and they've got a nice point guard and everything else. And I'm going to gradually learn their names. Like I said, I've been out for the whole summer. But I think Valley is one of those teams that could win a state championship this year. You look at Artesia. Artesia is another team that looks really, really solid on paper, okay? They just recently had Braylon Vega, a really, really nice guard, transfer from Hobbs High School, and he's class of 26, going to be a junior. In fact, they're all juniors practically on the Artesia Bulldog team. And they also have Clay Kincaid at 6'8", 6'7". Then you also have Charlie Campbell at 6'2". So this is a very, very nice looking team on paper, but paper doesn't win championships. Paper just sells, and that's about it. It's paper, so it's going to be about what they do on the court, but they got some really nice pieces. Braylon Vega can definitely shoot from outside. Charlie Campbell can get to the hole, and Clay Kincaid is looking like a nice power forward, center type of player, and he could start getting some attention around the D1, D2 level. Not D1, I would say. Well, maybe. Who knows? He's just a junior, for crying out loud. So we'll see. But he looks like he could definitely be a player that could go up to the next level. And Braylon Vega and Charlie Campbell both have a chance at that also. So that's a team that looks really, really good on paper. And I think that they could possibly make a run to the state tournament, to the championship game. They look good. I'll tell you that. They look good. They definitely have a lot of talent. Basically repeating myself, and we'll just have to see, but I think they're that other team that could go to the state final and win one along with Valley. Then you look at Highland. Highland is a buzzsaw on defense. My goodness, these guys really, really press. They really play hard, and really, if you play hard, it gives you a chance to do anything, and that's for sure. And that's Highland. Highland, in a nutshell, is they play really, really hard. They have a lot of different players who contribute. They have some good size. They have some really good speed. And man, I think they could do it also. They are missing Jesus Lecon. From what I understand, he could end up coming back around the district play time. And he's going to be a difference maker for them, for sure. You got Jamani Wright, who looks really promising, built like a running back. He can definitely get to the hole, and he can definitely get up there and put some points on the board. Shoots pretty good from the outside. Isha Herrera is another one that can shoot from outside, and he's another one that's going to have to be guarded. But the bottom line is they play really, really hard, tough defense. That's what's going to get them there. And they've already got that tradition. They already have 2 state titles under their belt, and they could possibly win another one. They look really, really tough defensively, and that's all I can really say about them. And then you throw in Jesus Lecon, who's possibly the best shooter since Bryce Alford. I mean, this guy is not scared to shoot from anywhere, and he can shoot from 35 feet with ease just standing there, okay? He can launch it. Now, it's just a matter of how he comes back, and if he can get back to that level he was as a junior, where he scored over 1,000 points. He did a really, really impressive year. In fact, I think he could have been a player of the year last year because of what he did. He was really, really impressive. And so we could see that again in district play, and we could see him really go out with a bang. And he's another one I think could get to college just on shooting alone. That's what's going to get him there. So Highland, Artesia, and Valley, I think you can just flip a coin. You can pick whichever one, and I wouldn't argue with you at all. I would be like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if they do it. Let's see, because those 3 look like they're the ones that are going to be able to do it. You have St. Pius. You have Kenny Zamora, who's, man, this is a really, really tough point guard, Kenny Zamora. He can handle the physicality, shoots well from outside, makes plays. He's just a great player to look at and to watch, for sure. And you have Isaiah Carpenter. He is the nephew of Dwayne Carpenter, former Highland star from the 90s. He's the son of Jason Carpenter. And he's another one that's really a busybody that gets out there in the paint and does a lot of nice things. And Pius has been tough over the years, and it just seems like they haven't really been able to get over the hump and quite get that team together to be able to really go further. And so this could be the year that they do that. They're another one I would put in that category that could make a run for the state title. You have Lovington, Cale Covington at 6'4". I think he needs a little bit of help there. The Wildcats are going to have to come together, and there's going to have to be some other people to step up for them to really make a run. And who knows? I just haven't seen much of them, so we'll see what happens there. You also have Espanola Valley. You have Derek Judah. I believe I'm saying his name right, okay? Derek Judah. I didn't really see much of him this season at all, or on Baller TV or anything like that. But then you have Josiah Frescus. These 2 together are really nice guards. and they make Espanola Valley very interesting. Josiah Frescas transferred from Los Alamos, and he's already a 1,000-point scorer for Los Alamos. So he's going to finish off over here at Espanola Valley, and so that should be an interesting combo, a duo up north. Definitely watch them. That's another one to look out for. And when you go through 4A, it can be kind of tough. Portales, I know, is going to be there. Portales looked pretty good when I saw them at the Eastern New Mexico team camp. They look like they could be pretty solid, but we'll just have to wait and see. There's a few others out there that I'm just kind of looking at, learning some names. Gallup, Grants. I'm not sure what they're going to bring, so I'm just going to sit back and look. Four Corners, you've got Kirtland Central, Aztec, Bloomfield. We'll see what comes out of that area right there as far as team play and who's going to be good there. Then in the Metro, you've got Del Norte, you've got Bernalillo, you got Albuquerque Academy, who's got a 7-footer named Hunter. And that's another team that looks like a work in progress, Albuquerque Academy. We'll have to see what they bring together. I only saw them in fall league, so I'll have to just kind of figure out what's going to happen there, who's going to be starting and that sort of thing. But they've got some intriguing parts there. Hope High School, Hope Christian is already looking pretty decent. I think they'll be able to make a run. They have Lincoln Sneed. He's a nice player that does a lot for them. And it looks like Jim Murphy, who's moving up in the all-time winning list. I think he's 42 now. 42 all-time. He's 6th on the active winning all-time list. There's only roughly 7 coaches right now on the active winning all-time list who are listed in the top 50 all-time wins in all of high school basketball. And it looks like Matter Day's coach is going to catch Robert Hughes, who passed away, who's the all-time winner at 1,300 victories. Jim Murphy is moving up the ladder. He is going to get close to about 900 wins. And he started last season at about 48th ranked, and now I think he's moved up about 4 or 5 spots. So he could start climbing up that ladder a little bit more this year if Hope can get about 20 wins. So that's another interesting side story to this season. As each year goes by, Jim Murphy keeps moving on up that ladder. He might have a shot at 1,000 wins if he stays that long. I think he'll probably have to do another 10 years of coaching, but he could, if he does that, could possibly catch Ralph Tasker of Hops, who has a little over 1,000 wins. So that's an interesting story to keep an eye on for sure. As far as 4A goes, like I said, you got 3 teams there that I think stand out above the rest, and it's just going to have to play out. I think I'll know more by district play. Who's who and this and that. Again, like I said, I missed a lot during the summer. You have Del Norte, like I said before. That's another work in progress that I was looking at. And so we'll see. We'll see. I think it's Valley, Artesia, and Highland that are going to be right up there. They look like they're well together, and they're gaining that momentum. And that's what you look for in teams during the summer. You look to see if they're gaining that momentum, and once you start seeing them gaining that momentum, you pretty much know that they're going to take it all the way to the state tournament, and you can kind of count on them to get to that quarterfinal or that semifinal in the state tournament, and then from there, it sort of just works itself out, and you pretty much know who's going to get to that state final in this state championship game. So moving on, you have 5A. This one, man, I'm going to say it. It's Volcano's world, and the rest of us are living in it. I honestly do not see anybody catching Volcano Vista this year either. I honestly don't. If they do, they're going to have to be very disciplined for a 32-minute game. They're going to have to execute like crazy, and they can't make mistakes because Volcano Vista punishes you if you make mistakes. They get up by 2, 3, 4, 6 points, it might as well be a blowout because they just don't take bad shots. I can't remember the last time I saw Volcano Vista take a bad shot. They're just that good. They have Kenyon Agueno, who I mentioned earlier, is going to Montana. And they also have David Lund, who has an offer from West Virginia. Yeah, that West Virginia. You know, the one with Bob Huggins? Yeah, he's a good one. I believe he's going to be a sophomore this year. And they also have Hudson Brown, and they have a few other nice players that are coming up through the ranks. they're definitely going to be the team to watch this year. And let's see if they do 4 straight years. And really, I think it's a credit to Greg Brown, his coaching, his very nuanced, detailed coaching, and being able to get his players to be very disciplined at what they do. There's no stars there. They're stars, but they're not taking over the team, so to speak. They're stars within the team structure, which is really impressive. You don't really see that much. They're doing kind of like the run that Hope had in 3A when they won about 7 in a row. And so if Volcano keeps doing this, they're going to have to move up to 6A. There's no 6A in high school basketball here in New Mexico, but it's just a joke. But the point is that they really got a system going up. They got this thing down. They got it down pat, and it's just a matter of maintenance now. It's not a matter of building the program. It's a matter of maintenance now. And I think it's also a credit to Kenyon Agueno and his high basketball IQ. Like I've said in the past, he reminds me of former Lobo Ramon Martinez in that he just makes the right basketball play. I just can't seem to recall him making a bad play or anything like that. He just makes the right play on the court, and so that's really impressive. And then you have Sandia, coached by Danny Brown. You have Thomas Adams, who's built like a linebacker. He plays linebacker, and he's another really nice player that definitely stands out and could have a really, really big year. Isaiah Brown, Zaire. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. It's a tough one. I'll have to look it up, but definitely look at Zaire. Zaire is about 6'4", great on the defensive end when he wants to be. I always catch him in photos getting burned or something like that. It's not to put him down or anything, but I think he could be much, much better. I think he can be really special if he just really, really goes for it and just really goes after it, you know? When I say these things, people get offended, but what I'm really saying is yeah, I think you could be a lot better because I think your ceiling's higher. That's all I'm saying. And with that group, if they can get disciplined enough, I think they need to get a little more disciplined with their game. They could definitely give Volcano Vista that run that I was talking about. I think they could beat Volcano Vista if they get disciplined for 32 minutes. And they execute really, really well. And that takes discipline. And that's the key with every team in 5A and 4A is that discipline. And there's a lot of lack of discipline throughout high school basketball all over the country when you really think about it. And, you go down the line, with that said, you go down the line, you look at Atrisco, and you have Latavius Morris, and he's going to have He's going to have a very interesting year because it's going to be a lot of pressure this year because they've lost some people. But now they got some people like Malachi Knox, who's intriguing, definitely intriguing. I believe he's going to be a sophomore. And they got a few others on that roster. And so it's just a matter of them getting things worked out and sorted out. They're a very fast team. And they're another team that could definitely make a run. But like I said again, it's about discipline. And this is Volcano's world right now. Everybody's looking up at Volcano Vista. Hops, another one. Abraham Pena, they started the season. I believe it was on Saturday they started the season, or was it Friday? They played a team out of Texas. And they already look pretty good. They have Parker Henderson at 7 foot. It is his senior year and Abraham Pena's senior year. And this duo right here, they could do some stuff. I think they'll be the best team coming out of the South as far as teams go. I think they're the ones that stand out the most. You got Ronald Ross as coach, and he's doing a really nice job. And they really got things going, and they're excited down there. That's a team to watch coming out of the South. You go through Las Cruces, a lot of changes happened this year. You have Rocky Gonzalez, who left Oregon Mountain for whatever reason. He resigned. But they do have Lenny Washington, and it's going to be his year. And Lenny has gone through a lot of tough things during high school, and I think he could have a big year as a senior. And it's up to him. 6'4", he's going to be a senior. It's up to him. And it's going to be interesting to watch Oregon Mountain. You got Mayfield, Keith Roberts, resigned as head coach, and he moved on to New Mexico State to be director of basketball operations. So we'll see how that plays out. we'll see what Mayfield's able to do. You have Centennial. Centennial is another team, and I like your gym. I really want to get down there and check out that gym for the first time because I've seen it in pictures and video, and it looks like a beautiful place. And that's another team that I'm going to check out for sure. And then, of course, William Benjamin and his Las Cruces Bulldogs. They've got some freshmen that are coming up, and they've got the Navarez kids. They're another team that I think is also going to be a work in process, but definitely check them out because there could be another run coming up through the Las Cruces High. That could be the run right there. I mean, I'm lost for words, really. But when you think about it, they've always been like that. So it looks like another run could be coming their way. It might be a year away from now. It's just a matter of growth and maturation for them. Now, you go across to Farmington, you have Xander DeGriego at 6'2". He's going to be a junior. And you have Sam Goetz. I believe he's around 6'6". He's a senior. That's another intriguing team. I think they might be a little bit of a middle-of-the-pack type of team. But we'll see. I think they could end up being around that 9th, 10th seed type of deal right there. That's another team to definitely look for. Clovis is another team that I saw at the Eastern New Mexico camp, and they looked really interesting. In fact, they went to the championship game of that tournament, and they did really well. That's another team that I'm going to keep an eye on. They're still growing. I think they're still maturing. They're a fast group. They're definitely a very good group on defense. That's one team to definitely look out for. Santa Fe is another group. I like Joe Gonzalez over there. Joe Gonzalez could be another one of those players that's going to be, in my opinion, he's going to be an all-district, but he could be an all-stater. So definitely check out the Santa Fe Demons and look out for Joe Gonzalez. He's going to be an interesting one to watch. Now we go to, let's say, El Dorado. Malachi Green. He's another nice, very athletic player that's coming up. El Dorado's got some intriguing parts. That's another team that is a dark horse. And like I said, there's a lot of teams that just have a lot of question marks. Manzano's another one that they looked pretty good once they started adding some players to their roster. And I want to see, they were building some aggression and they were building some physicality in themselves. And I want to see if they continue that trend. They could be another surprise team. That's another team to check out. Albuquerque High, Ali Morales. That's another player to definitely check out. I think he's another one that could end up being an all-stater. Definitely check them out. They're going to start out the season against Volcano Vista probably a day after I drop this podcast. Now we go to La Cueva. La Cueva, it's always like this during the fall season, the fall league. They don't always have all their players there, so it's kind of hard to tell what they're going to be. You have Drew Bramlett, who looks like he could be a standout player for them. That's a team I'll check out. And hopefully, with La Cueva, it's always been chemistry. I'm going to say this about La Cueva. It's just an observation. But with all the talent that has come through there, you would think that they would have a state championship by now. But it just seems like they can't seem to get that team chemistry thing going on there and really kind of come together, kind of like a Volcano Vista. They could really have a program like Volcano Vista. But, we'll see if they can start that this year. That's what it's all about. La Cueva could have been, one of those dominant programs in the last 5-6 years because they've had so many very good players come through. In fact, they've had 2 D1 football players come through there, Exodus Ayers and Cam Dyer. So we'll see what happens there. Cleveland, Remy Albrecht, and the boys. That's another team that's up and coming. I'm going to check them out a little bit and see what they can put together. They seem like a real kind of young group, a new group. So I'm just going to wait and see on that one. Rio Rancho looks like another very intriguing team. Like I said, again, a lot of questions, but they have some nice players. It's just a matter of them stepping up and seeing what they're going to be. Who's going to do what? It's just a lot of unfamiliarity with all these teams because there just seems to be, like I said, a lot of returning players, but who's going to step up and who's going to kind of take that mantle or that leadership role kind of deal when it comes to 5A when you look across the board. Alamogordo, another team from the South. A lot of questions and don't know much about them. Or Roswell, still learning. Like I said, I missed so much time. And I'm just doing this off of the top of my head, folks. Top of my head. There's teams like Capital, still got questions on that. You have, I'm thinking here now of who else. Cibola. Cibola is another intriguing one with Teague Brown. And Gabe Martinez seems to have a program developing there. They just started a new social media account. That's something fairly new with Cibola. And they've been kind of down for a while, but let's see if they can start building some momentum and start building that program up and getting some excitement right up there by the Cottonwood area. So we go on, we move across the city. I'm thinking of some other ones. Like I said, it's Volcano Vista. I know I'm repeating myself. And then I think it's just Sandia for now. And then I think Hobbs. Clovis is that other team that I think could make a run. And frankly, it's just going to be a lot of questions. And I think we'll know after all the tournaments come Christmas time. There's a bunch of tournaments that come in there around Christmas time. You've got Rio Rancho that throws one. Hobbs throws one. Las Cruces has a public school tournament that comes out. You also have the Metro tournament. And usually whoever wins the Metro tournament usually goes on to the state final. And so, with all that being said, it's just going to be a very interesting season. A lot of questions to be answered. And just cheer on your team. Just cheer on your team. Go support your team. And get out there. Get out there and get involved. If you can, volunteer. Help out if you can. And if you're a business, go out there and sponsor these schools because they always need that financial help, for sure. So definitely check all that stuff out. Hope you enjoy the show. I'm probably going to do another one maybe by Christmas just to kind of recap everything that has started. Probably maybe the first of the year. I don't know. We'll just see. I plan to be out there. Maybe I plan to do about 20. Normally I used to do about 30 plus games a year. I don't know about this year. I'm kind of delving a little bit more into the college basketball scene. So, and I'm also doing the New Mexico Runners a lot. This is my third year with the New Mexico Runners. In case you don't know who they are a major arena soccer league here in Rio Rancho, Albuquerque. It's big time. It is one of the only arena soccer leagues in the whole United States. That's it. There's no more. There's the Major Arena Soccer League, and there's a Major Arena Soccer League too. So definitely come check the Runners out. They play at the Rio Rancho Event Center, NewMexicoRunners.com. We've got some great season ticket prices. I'm working with them. And we're going to definitely do some more stuff with that. And there's some other things in the works. So definitely check all that stuff out. Enjoy the season. Happy Thanksgiving. And if I don't get back before Merry Christmas on one of these podcasts, Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you later. Bye.